Check, check, check. Audio check. G'day, Stu from Uavfutures. Welcome to Happy Flying, our weekly live stream. Can you believe it? We are on episode number 34. So that's 34 weeks in a row, -1 for the cyclone, that we've been here talking FPV, hanging out with you guys. But I can already see the champions in the chat right now. Before we get started, the audio. Is it good? Is it coming clear? Are we buffering? Any of that stuff before we get in, talk about today's show, because we have some very exciting news. If you're into FPV, if you've got any questions or you've wanted to get a bit of an insight scoop on what is going down in the FPV world, you are in the right place. We're also going to be able to help some pilots get up and get flying. And we have a pretty cool show. Actually, I'm feeling pretty positive, and this is the best part of my working week, hanging out with you guys, going through, answering your questions, because I'm just like you guys. I love FPV drones. The only difference is I point a camera at mine and usually just talk at the camera all day. So I can see Purge in the chat as well. Shout out to Purge. Thank you for being a member. I can see Johnny DRC. So he's one of my patrons as well. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. We've got other people saying, no, yo, pilots, and nice and clear audio. So when Jacob says, let's go off to the park to fly packs all day, and I get a stream as well. So what we got coming up in today's stream, I got a bit of a checklist, actually. We have, of course, we're going to talk about mental health, because that's how we start every single stream. Drones are the best way that I know how to improve people's lives. They've had such a positive impact on me. And if we can share that message with some other people as well, and sort of if anybody out there is suffering from mental health, I've suffered from it in the past, that I want to let them know that they're not alone. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We need to talk about this thing. So, yeah, this is, we're going to be talking about this a little bit, just a bit of Australian wildlife. Yes, yeah, we're going to be talking about that a little bit. I can see Bruno as well, another member, tuning in with some emojis right there. We have some two fronts, some really, really exciting news, and some things that are going to be a big deal for your videos that you see here on Uavfutures. So I cannot wait to show you. It's right here. We're going to be having a look at that on the stream as well. We're going to be talking about the Mojito, so the wing from TBS. If you want some updates on that, I'll let you know where we are up to. I've got some new pictures to show you, and also talk about some of the crashes that we've had. The Avalon Airshow, which is my most popular video we've ever done on Uavfutures, was recently held back down where I used to live. So we're talking about that a little bit as well, and kind of some disasters. Some things went down that were pretty scary, actually. So we're talking about that. There was a big drone race and that sort of stuff on there as well, between the Army and the Navy and some defense members. Shout out to those people and everybody who was down there at the Avalon Airshow. We are going to talk a little bit about 3D printers, because that's something that I want to talk about a little bit as well. So you'll see there should be a goal somewhere on the screen. I'm not too sure how YouTube goals work, but we'll talk about that as well. We've got some DIY FPV updates, which, if you don't know, DIY FPV is going to be the #1 place that just helps pilots get flying. So if you've never been there, that link should be in the description as well. So we'll be checking that out. And that's a website that me and the DIY FPV team have been building for like the last 18 months, and it is live. You can join it, go check that out. And I want to answer some troubleshoot questions to get some people flying, which might help some other pilots as well. And then, yeah, we've got some sort of a look back at time, and there is a bit of a trend between some pilots that I want to discuss where they really get into FPV. And then for some reason, I'm sure, let me know if you are one of these pilots or you know somebody who is like this, where you can have some people you fly with all the time, and then for one reason or another, they just sort of gradually lose interest, or something breaks, or why do those pilots stop flying, and what does it take to get them back in and enjoying FPV? Because I read a lot of comments about like the positivity of FPV, but then they say, oh, but I haven't flown in ages. So I want to talk about that a little bit as well. And of course, we're going to be answering your questions. So I'd love to know, wherever you are, what are you up to? What have you been flying? Is there anything you would like to discuss on this Happy Flying episode? Number 34, kick back, relax, grab yourself a coffee or a drink, whatever it's going to be, and then enjoy for the next hour. We're going to be answering your questions and talking through all those things in FPV. Someone saying, wow, exciting topics that snakes can throw. Yeah, that's we'll talk about that in just a little bit as well. So if you don't know about Australian wildlife, it's not always fun to be here. Whenever I see videos of people just walking through, like, not the jungle, but like scrubland and shrubs and long grasses. Like even in the States or some other places, I just think, man, I would be dead if I did that in Australia. All right. Let's have a look. So the first things first, my little dot point here, mental health. I want to say, if you are somebody who is suffering in your mental health and you're feeling like, I don't want you to feel like you have to suffer alone. I've been there in the past and I want you to not feel alone. And a big one is that it is not weak to speak. We've got an amazing positive FPV community here. You can reach out to me. You can contact me on DIY FPV. And a shout out to some people who have reached out. And sometimes too, I also want to say that this community is incredibly supportive, and as well as just don't feel like you have to suffer in silence. Even if we can't be the answer to all the problems, just opening up a little bit is important to go and talk about it. And then also getting some professional help as well is never a bad thing to go and do. So I'd recommend that to anybody, even if this is just reaching that one person who needs to hear it. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're part of the FPV community. And please don't ever feel like you have to isolate and you can't reach out, because there's plenty of services out there and the world is better with you in it. So I just want to put that little message out there. As far as my mental health is going, I have never felt more positive and excited and back on track. It was pretty dark in the past, which is why I'm really passionate about getting some other people flying as well. But right now, for me, I feel like this is going to be the best year for me, just like in terms of like personally, but also for Uavfutures and helping you guys, making the content that you want to see. Like I'm feeling so excited, so passionate about it. You might have seen a recent video that I did, but for those of you who haven't seen it, just like we had the cyclone, yeah, that was kind of annoying. It did trash some stuff. We're going through the repairs, fixing that up, but that has given me a real chance to like reassess what I'm working on and just looking at the trajectory. That's a hard word to say 10 times quick. Looking at the trajectory of that and like what that means for FPV content, for making videos for you that you want to see. I'm super pumped, as well as bringing some people on board. Like it's just going to mean more videos, more content, more just enjoying FPV, more getting you guys flying, which ultimately means like improving your life, because these flying little magic little robots right here, that little flying blenders, are so much fun. And if we can get more people flying and enjoying the hobby, like that is my mission. That is my mission in life. That's what I sort of look at my career as, having an impact on the world to just change people's lives through FPV. Let's see what people are saying in the chat as well. Crash Test Cal, shout out to him. If you don't know who he is, one of the OG legends back when I used to live down in another state in Victoria. So shout out to Crash Test Cal. He's saying get a pet ferret. Yeah, so that'll be for the snake in the roof. I don't know if a ferret would be able to take down a snake of this size, actually talking about a python there. So what we are talking about, I guess that's going to move us into this part. We should just talk about that now, so I can see Cal is in the chat. So recently, before we talk about some stuff about DJI, which I've got coming up in just a second as well, we'll be talking about DJI and the importance that is going to have on this channel and Uavfutures. You can see, check this out. So let me set the scene for you. I feel like this is not a big deal unless you live in Australia, and then it's kind of a little bit scary. So, scary as in you don't really want to mess with the wildlife here. So we were fixing some things up from the cyclone, just doing a couple little, like, not renovations, but we're getting ready to do some plastering. So like the ceiling part of the plaster, the downlights are there, and I'm working away on this stuff. A mate's helping me, and then decide to go have tea. We come back like 40 minutes later, and I think, gee, what is that hanging up there on the wall? Like, I don't remember that being there before. It's sort of like up in the rafters. I go over and I have a look, and just a little part of this is sort of just hanging over. Like, all you can see is sort of just this, but minus the head. So you just see like this little part. Oh, what is that? And I decide to, I get the broom and I'm getting it down from out of the roof, and it keeps coming and coming. And yeah, look at the size of this thing. So this snake, which is like, this is also a bit dry right now, but it's going off the camera. So here we have like a 7-foot snake that was not there 40 minutes ago, and the skin was fresh. Like it was all Like now it's dried out a little bit. It was very subtle, might be the word, subtle. I don't know. Like it was a fresh snake skin that was there, and then it did freak me out just a little bit. So I'm kind of in two minds about it. My wife is a little bit freaked out about that thing, but I feel like it might be a good thing as well to have a snake in your roof if you sort of live on a property like I do. We've got chickens. I'm kind of concerned that it might eat the chickens because this is like it was too big for this snake skin, so it's even bigger than that. It shed that. I hope it doesn't eat the chickens, but it might eat some things if you have like some chickens or poultry around. There is often rodents that come with that, and that snake might take care of those. So not that that seems to be too much of a problem, but it's obviously eating well, so it might eat some mice or some rats or anything that it finds around the place. Or if I do see it, I will probably call somebody to get it removed. But at the moment, I don't really want to be sticking my hand in any of those crevices trying to find out where it is. And that made the rest of the work that I was doing on the ceiling, I could just imagine that snake looking at my hands and my fingers thinking like, oh, look at that. Oh, gee, some little movement, some warmth there. Is that a little mouse that's screwing in those downlights and doing a bit of work on the ceiling? I was kind of freaked out for the rest of the, well, I guess where we're up to on the install of the ceiling there. Do I think it's a brown snake? No, I do not. So I think that I am no snake expert, and we are going to be talking about DJI. If you've just tuned in, I know that this is like a drone channel. This is just kind of an interesting thing that I thought we would talk about that came up a little bit before we talk about DJI. I'm pretty sure that it's a python, which means it's not venomous like a carpet python. And brown snakes don't climb. That seems to be a general rule. So you're not going to be finding, if that was a brown snake, I would be freaked out. I'd be like, I'm going to die here. But these ones, they're not venomous. They'll just sort of strangle you, a little bit better, instead of dying from poison. I can see Super Deluxe. He's saying, show the tail skin up close. I can. I also have the other end, the head right here. I don't know if this is going to be enough for people, but we've also, it's pretty cool that it's a complete, I think I'm going to give it to my daughter to take to school. They've got like a science room and stuff that they'll be able to put it in and things like that. So you can even see the eyelids and things on there as well. So if you are somewhere that doesn't have dangerous snakes, consider yourself lucky. But yeah, this was not an everyday occurrence that happens here, but it's happened quite a few times. All right. Let's see what people are up to. It's good. Perfect roof pet then. Yes. So it's not as bad as like a venomous snake. That's if it's not venomous. All right. Let's continue talking about, just exciting things. Someone's saying classic donut shirt stew. Thank you very much. Yeah, super like non-venomous. How can you tell that just by looking at the tail? That'd be a nice little skill to have right here. This is some big news for Uavfutures, right? This is like probably the main thing that I want to talk about. It does revolve around DJI. If you've ever wondered, like, what is the best way that Uavfutures can grow and continue to make good content for you guys, there has been one thing that's been holding me back, and that is the latest DJI goggles. I feel like I must be the last reviewer on the YouTube on the planet that does so many drone videos, but does not have a set of the later, I guess like the high-end DJI goggles. We've been working really hard in the past on Uavfutures to bring you the best content that we can. You guys have been incredible. So those people who are supporters, those people on my Patreon, those people who become members and sent me donations or super chats, anything that you guys have done, it has made a massive difference to the channel. And we've had more subscribers like in the last 3 months, especially towards Christmas, than we did over like 3 years. So there was a bit of a lull here on the channel, but I'm feeling more confident, more passionate, just more excited than ever. Like I can feel it as a long-term growth thing as well. It's not just today. It's not just last week. It's not just last month. For like, since we've started these live streams and with your support, watching these, making more content, getting people flying, like I said, I've never felt more passionate about FPV. And that's because of you guys. I can see you flying. I can see your comments, you getting involved in like DIY FPV, and we are changing people's lives together. So I want to say thanks. And to jump on the back of that, something I've never been able to do is truly, I feel like if I was going to review this, for example, where did I put that? So a lot of people talk about this. So this is like the DJI 04 Pro camera, I would say. And people, you know, I can do a review on that because it does work with these goggles right here. But I feel like it is my job to give you the information that you deserve. And often people talk about the optics of this don't just quite live up to maybe what the 04 Pro can actually deliver, because you need to marry it up to some DJI 03 goggles. So what we're going to be doing today is, thanks to you guys, we're going to be opening these. So I know we're a little bit late to the party. I must be the last reviewer on the planet to actually have a set of these. But we now have some DJI 03 goggles, which is a huge deal for me because it means I like flying with all systems, and I have no preference for one system over the other. Traditionally in the past, I have really liked Walksnail. I was very impressed with the latest 04 models from DJI, but I've never been able to truly push it to the limits to give you the right information so you can see what is it like. So I'm pretty excited. We're opening these up right now. If you fly around with these, please let me know. They've been out for a little while, but maybe you get to see. This is like my first time opening up. I've seen them quickly. I have tried them on in the past, like with some other pilots ones as well, but I've never seen any of the extras and any of that sort of stuff that comes with it. I don't even know what is in here. DJI Fly app. Are these some little RF tags? Oh, like, or are they lenses that go on the inside? So we've got something here. I'll have to check them out in just a little bit. Someone's saying, I swear Bruce from XJet is coming after you with the new DJI products. What do you mean? I love old Brucey. Right there. And then let's see, I just flew the 04 Pro out here last weekend on race mode. Did you like it, Render? I'm not too sure what you mean. You got some stars there, but also like a face that's looking a bit puffed out. All right, and someone's saying the Integras with the Vista units. Now, in the past too, I have been flying with the DJI Goggles 2. Like the, or 1.5. I really don't like their name. So you're going to love the G3s. I started flying them on a couple of months ago. They're fairly balanced, like the Integras. Well, yeah, it's a big deal for me because I couldn't afford these. You guys have been amazing, and in the past, I haven't been able to get a set of goggles like this as much as I've wanted to. DJI never includes me in the releases anyway, so being able to really make some great content for you, I'm really, really excited for that. All right, let's have a look here. What do we have? Now, I don't particularly like straight off the bat that, again, this on the back. So the battery on the back. But let's have a look right here. Should I be reading any? Keep these lenses away from direct sunlight. Adjust the diopters by rotating them. Okay, so if you need some glasses. Is this like old news, reviewing these sort of goggles? Super Deluxe, my G3 and 04 unit shipped tomorrow. Hopefully, don't you fly around with 03 already? Super Deluxe? I thought you had 03 goggles for some reason. Let me take these out. And it's going to be very interesting to be able to do a comparison between these goggles and what you can expect and the N3s. Because I actually really like the N3 goggles. Gosh, these are kind of tricky. These little tabs don't make it easy to take those off. Now, of course, one of the things people don't like about DJI, I don't think it's too much of a big deal because you can use a fake email address, is you have to register these. So in order to get them to work, all right, let's see how these are going to fit on the face. Do I need... Is there a power cable that just runs through? Okay, it's sewn in right here. What are they going to be like? Imagine if they just broke. Okay. First impressions, putting DJI goggles on my face, brand new, out of the box. I mean, I don't, I feel like I'm contradicting myself right here, but I thought I would really dislike this battery, but it's not that heavy on the back. Like it's sort of the same as the N3. I do wonder what would it if I totally remove that battery, would it be any more comfortable? Okay, this is interesting. Let's see if we can turn them on. Now, does this fold out? I think it does, right? I really should be reading the manual on these. You guys are sort of looking at my first impressions. Like, this guy knows nothing about DJI and his O3 Goggles. Yeah, I've never had them before, so that's what someone's saying. Looking good there. Shout out to Sean Williams. They won't break. Let's turn these on. And I bet you it says you need to register these, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And I will probably be doing a firmware update as well, putting these on the latest firmware. What are these IPDs like? Come on, they've booted up. Now the screen's gone black. Oh. Does this have a motion control through it? It's like with the camera on the front. Why can't I see anything, DJI? Let's have a look. So I'm getting like a completely black screen. If you have any tips on what could be going on, I know I haven't read the manual. I'm doing like a mail thing right here. I will read those instructions later. Where are the buttons? They're going to take a little bit to get used to how they sort of hang off the front of your face rather than mold to your face. Is there something I should be doing here? Why do I just have a black screen? What is going on? I mean like no screen, no image. All right. That's and please tell me if I have the let it load up. It's not like how long does it take though to just have a black screen? Stu, I think you have to activate them. Burn the instructions live for $10. I don't think destruction for money is the right way to go about that for funds. All right, I'm going to leave that to the side, but as you can see, there is nothing on the screens. Maybe like the off and on again. Let's try one last time. And then we're going to be moving on because I also want to talk about the Mojito, the plane from TBS. I want to talk a little bit about the Avalon Airshow and a disaster that sort of happened there. But this is pretty big news for me and my channel and making content for you guys. Okay. It's saying DJI on the screen. Like, I can see that clearly. And now nothing. What is meant to... Oh, there we go. So now we're going to cycle through and find English. Now this menu was not here before. Go next. It's saying adjust it on your head. Yep, that's all good. Next. Adjust your IPDs. Yep. Left eye Doppler, right eye. Imagine if this is how I found out that I need glasses. Like it does look clearer going at minus 100. Okay, I didn't expect that. This feature allows you to view the real time of your surroundings. Tap this twice. Oh, there we go. We're going to be just continuing to do the. This is a trip. All right. I'm going to see if I can read your comments here. Someone's saying I've got $5, $15. That's $20 to burn the instructions right here. I don't remember what it was in the beginning. Damn, last person showed up. Happy flying. Guys, activate first, should see the logo, then start by the menu. All right, I'm going to take these off. They're probably on low battery. Actually, get out of this. Exit rear view by tapping the right side of your goggles twice. And now we're good. Back to the menu buttons and that sort of stuff. All right. Pretty cool. I'm excited. It's a pretty big deal for me on Uavfutures. Not like I am excited to fly for them, but the thing that I'm the most excited about is making content for you guys. So now I feel like I have a real option to be able to conclusively give my overall impressions on what the O4s are like. How do they marry up to the N3s? What does the O4 look like with the best generation of goggles to give you the absolute pinnacle of what people say is the best looking FPV experience. All right, I'm going to put these to the side. We're going to move on a little bit. Someone's saying you should do a live stream with the goggles on and see how long the battery lasts. Yes, I just freaked out and thought this was a snake for 2 seconds because we've been talking about that. But it was just the lens protective cover right here. All right, moving on. We've got some other things. So that's going to be coming up on the channel as well. It's a big deal for me. I want to give a huge shout out to anybody who's ever been supporting of Uavfutures. If you've become a member, if you're a patron, send through super chats. It's with your help and the hard work we've been doing on here to make content. You guys have been enjoying it as well. You've been absolutely incredible. And now that's just like another level of content that I can create for you. And the most important part, it's information. Because to be honest, it's not about having the best gear. It's about having the best time, and the more information that I can give you that's going to suit your flying style, your situation, so you can make the most informed, best decision for you, that's going to let you have the best time. And this is going to be another tool in my videos, another bit of the library that you can learn from, and that is my pleasure. So I want to say thank you so much for anybody who has supported the channel, been here, and helped me make this content for you. Someone's saying, glad you got them. You deserve them. Well, you guys deserve it as well. I was more than happy to continue to fly around with my N3s. I really like them. Someone's saying, use the DJI consumer app. Use DJI consumer app, Stu, be done in less than 2 minutes. Maybe we might do that towards the end of the stream. I want to check up on some other things first, but that might be something we can do on how to activate your DJI. Now, this happened. Actually, we'll talk about the TBS Mojo. So if you don't know, the TBS Mojo, it's a wing coming out. It looks really, really cool. Trappy stopped over towards the end of 2024. He crashed at my place. That's the owner of TBS. He brought some over. We flew them around. They looked incredible. They were early production models. I've got some like final production models right here. Stickman Steve and myself have been building them. However, we haven't had the greatest success when it comes to launching them and flying them. Now, there could be two things. It could be pilot error, which of course I will never rule out. When it's Stickman Steve and myself trying to fly some things, especially wings, it's not always going to go the best. We have crashed it quite a number of times. And number two, it could be the information on learning iNav and getting that set up correctly that is making it really hard to narrow down where our problems lie. Is it pilot error and we can't fly? Is it in the setup that we don't have it flying correctly? Because it's one thing to make a video on a product and say, this is my experiences on it. But there is another thing to, if you are going to make a review on a product, you need to probably have it set up correctly so you can give informed information to those people out there who might want to be doing it. Otherwise, it's not fair. I've seen it fly in person too, which makes me think that maybe I haven't set some things up correctly. I have these pictures right here. So Stickman Steve sent these over this morning. Let's see if we can jump over. So this, let's have a look. We've got, there's some bonus feet pics right there. So Stickman Steve's feet, but it is looking pretty good. We do have a smaller prop on the back because we smashed our last prop. I've got a new order coming in from Stickman Steve. Oh, here's a picture of the snake skin I sent him. So there you go. But yeah, I'm excited to get this thing flying again. Well, I should say flying properly. We've had a couple of flights that it felt like it was flying around with jelly. It didn't feel good. But I've also seen Trappy fly in it, and it looked like a weapon. Like, this is the fastest wing I have ever seen. You've seen probably the takeoff if you've seen some of my previous live streams where Trappy launched it. It is incredible. It is a real amazing piece of engineering, but we just don't have ours set up and flying. And I know I looked at, I'm wondering if it is a more complex plane to set up because it's definitely not beginner friendly. I know Painless 360, he's meant to have some videos and builds, but also I haven't seen him actually flying his. So I'm wondering, how was he going through that process? I want to make something with my videos that is going to streamline that process. So if you're thinking about getting a wing from TBS, you like the look of this and you've got some experience, I want to make a video that says, here's step by step to how to, everything that I learned, and put that into one video so you can fly this thing around without having to go through the same trials and tribulations that we've been doing on the channel. So if you're excited about the Mojito, stay tuned, watch this space. It's just taking a little bit to get flying because we want to get it flying correctly. And it would be easy to make a video and saying, hey, here it is, and it's flying not very good. But that would be the unjust and incorrect thing to do by you viewers, and also by Trappy and TBS as well. We try to really just give the most thorough information possible so you can make that informed decision. Now, moving on, the next thing that I want to talk about actually is the Avalon Airshows. For those of you who don't know, my most popular video here on the channel is when I was back in not my hometown, but a place where I lived for over a decade. Down in Victoria, there's a place very close by called Avalon, and they have an air show every 4 years, and it's a pretty major deal. I believe it might be the biggest air show in the Southern Hemisphere. Correct me if I'm wrong. They fly a lot of there is so much cool stuff there, and there's also drone racing there. So I know the Army has a team, the Navy here has a team. They often go head to head trying to battle it out and see which pilot is better. I think Army came out on top this time, so shout out to those boys. But everyone down there is super cool. However, this happened. So this is kind of a little bit scary. This is not something you see every day. Check this out. So this is on there's a runway where the F-22 Raptors and all the main planes and everywhere, all the pilots and stuff do their shows. Check this out. This is wild that this happened 2 days ago or something. So yeah, we had a plane crash at the Avalon Airshow, which I don't know. It's I think it was the runway was shut down for the next day. Yeah, just wild that happened down there. Now, thankfully, the pilot amazingly is in a stable condition, so I'm glad that nobody got hurt. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be talking about it so much. I wouldn't be sort of so amazed at just the footage that people have captured. But the pilot is in a stable condition. I think he's in a pretty serious condition. That's pretty incredible that he walked away from that. But just to think 4 years ago, I'm right here watching this, and I think it really puts it into perspective, how much you need to respect the airspace. And it reminds me a little bit of drones. People get them and they think they can fly these things and things are going to be okay. But we're talking about bits of metal and machinery flying through the air at hundreds of kilometers per hour. It's a little, this might be good. Let's see. Are we back? He's back. People saying I'm back. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I restarted my computer, and I'm not sure if this is the same stream. Can you guys still see me? If you're one of the 23 people who did stick around, thank you so much. I truly do appreciate it. Let's just recap on where we were. People saying you're good. Yeah, if you could just put some chats in there to let me know that the sound is working, the audio is working, where we're up to, what happened on your side, because everything just started to slow down right here. So I'd be interested to know, how does that actually affect it if you're a viewer watching this? People saying I see and hear you, same stream, good audio. Other people saying, am I on Optus? Okay, all right, all good. Same stream. Thank you very much there. Let me just, I don't even know where OBS is actually on my computer right now, but I believe it must be running. And get this back there. Your shirt, it's Very colorful. Thank you very much. It just cut. Someone's saying the snake did it and then it was buffering for a bit. All right, we are back and we were just talking about the Avalon Airshow. Just to show that one last time. If this breaks my computer, I will be upset. And this is not the only thing that's going to crash. It's not just this plane. It will be here as well. So yeah, we were talking about this. Just some pretty wild footage at the air show we're up to right here. But thankfully that pilot is A-okay. Well, not A-okay, but he is still living and in a serious but stable condition at the hospital down there. All right, so thank you so much for those people who are still here. The other part, yeah, like I mentioned, big shout out to the racers. And the reason that Avalon Airshow was a big deal is because there is so much drone stuff there as well. And it's really cool to see, I guess, the military putting on some things that are for sport and encouragement as well. So there is some positives attached to drones, even in defense. So no matter where you stand on that side of things, and of course they've got their reasons for wanting to do this, but it is nice to see that like in a stressful environment that is defense, there are still those great outlets like they're there. So if you're into drones and that there is those options. And I think that's great for everybody involved. Like the positives of FPV cannot be understated, even if you're going to be using them in some probably not fun situations. It's nice to still show the other side of that and say, hey, drones are a fantastic, amazing community building hobby that everybody should be involved in. Andy, thank you very much. You're the first person on this goal, which we will talk about as well. So this is like a long-term goal. I'm not too sure how to set them up perfectly in YouTube. He just sent through a super chat. Do we know how loud we can turn up the beeps in the ESC configurator without damaging the motors? I can't hear my whoops over the birds in my yard. They're probably going as loud as they can. Unfortunately, because your motors are so small, like that is all that you're going to be hearing. So I guess if you put them on some larger craft with bigger ESCs and bigger motors, they would be louder. As far as a little whoop goes, that's probably about max volume. Can you? I don't know if you actually can adjust. I've never had a situation where I've wanted to adjust them. Let's have a bit of a Google right here. Someone's trying to turn them down. My friend turned his beeper volume all the way up and the ESC let out magic smoke. I hope that it didn't let it all out. Is there a way to turn down the beeper volume? I think the volume is controlled through BO Heli, which in case you can needs to be plugged into change. Okay. I didn't know you could do that. The setting in the ESC configurator says that if you turn it up too loud, it could damage the motor. Someone's saying you can try and turn it up, but it's pretty pointless. Like you said, the stators are too small to really make much noise. So it is almost like having this is what I mentioned with like having a really small motor and a small ESC. Even let's pretend you had a speaker, a really small little speaker, like an earbud speaker. Even cranking that up to max volume is not going to make too much of a difference. No matter how much gain, how much volume you pump through a little earbud, it's not going to make too much volume. Versus if you had an actual I can't talk properly, a larger speaker, then you're going to be able to pump more. You're going to be able to send that same energy in there, and you're going to have it like a higher noise floor that you're going to be able to push to. And I mean in decibels wise. So. It looks like you can turn it up from what people are saying and from a bit of Googling that you can turn it up in like the BO Heli suite and the ESC configurators. However, be very mindful that like someone else was saying, they let out the magic smoke. And another person here, shout out to Andy, he's saying if you turn it up, it could damage the motor. So my recommendation, Andy, we've got two Andys here. This is, am I reading this? Is this, okay. If you turn up to, oh no, so Andy is replying to himself there. And looks like you've already done the research. My best bet would be if you are really losing your whoop and it's driving you a little bit crazy, you could probably add on an external buzzer. I know it's going to be extra weight that you're adding to your craft, but there's no magic solution here. You're not going to be able to turn it up enough where you can hear it over the birds and you don't have to add any external weight, and it's not going to damage your craft. So I don't know. Sorry that there's no magic answer that I can give you. I do appreciate that super chat though. Thank you so much for sending that through. If anybody else has any other solutions as well, and like how to find your craft, if you're going to be losing it, also it depends how far you're flying it away, and what your yard is like, and that sort of stuff. Pretty pointless. It won't make too much noise because of the small status. All right. This probably leads me into something that I do want to talk about. So thank you, Andy, because that is the first part of our super chat goal that you can probably see on the screen. I hope that I can carry these goals across in the future, because you will know, if you've been on this channel before, we have been talking a little bit about these legends, and you'll say, here's a tip. What does this, what I'm about to show you, what does this have to do with FPV? You have 2 seconds, not 2 seconds, let's give you 10 seconds. Type in the chat now, what does what you can see on the screen right here have to do with FPV? Because there is a bigger connection here than people realize. If you know, this is Central Coast Coffee. Now, for those of you who don't know, and if you didn't put your answer in, this is, let's see if you were thinking the right thing. So Central Coast Coffee, huge shout out to them, because they send me coffee for this stream that I'm probably meant to drink on stream, but it's like 10 a.m. here, and I'm not waiting that long to have a coffee. It's really good coffee. Go check it out. Central Coast Coffee. Well, fantastic. Great. However, the reason is because, as Chris Croft is saying as well, that it is related to this. So this is Phaser FPV. Phaser FPV, that's like their sister store here that they do with Central Coast Coffee. So shout out to Phaser FPV. So it's actually an FPV store, but their coffee store is sponsoring the stream by just sending that through each month to be able to have some coffees. But yeah, Phaser FPV, they've been around for a long time, a really good store here in Australia, a great range of stock. And this is all going to come back full circle, because huge shout out to Everyday with Bruno. Not only is a member, sending through that super chat as well. He's saying for the 3D printer, because I would like to start a goal. Well, I guess that's what this is towards, of getting one of these. So I've been looking at 3D printing for a while. It would be cool to be able to order this through Phaser to support them as well. And the reason that I would like to do some 3D printing videos is because I think I've had a 3D printer before. It's about 10 years old. Like, it is very, very old, and I think it's beyond repair. Like, it is a bit of a pain to work. The prints would stop working half the time. However, I know Mads Tech talks about these printers all the time. They're $314. So this is what our goal is going to be towards on Uavfutures for like super chats moving forward. And I would like to create some things for this bad boy. So I think something like the Lightning V2 is a really, really popular craft. It's one of my all-time, it probably is my all-time favorite craft. And that brings me into, because it's not perfect, and if you fly around with DJI O4s, especially the like light versions, we need something a little bit better. So if you've ever wondered about flying the DJI O4, the light version, is it durable? I'm going to say the bad problem is no, but there should be ways to fix that. So if I jump over here, check this out, guys. This is something that I would like to see more of. So this is a bit of a soft mount thing. Maybe it's going to help with that gyro and like trying to stabilize that footage. But for me, if you are going to be there's not too much out there that is free on Thingiverse. I have some great ideas that I want to design and print and test for other pilots out there as well. So if you want to, that's why that goal is there. If you'd like to help contribute to getting something towards that. And I'm going to try to make some things that are compatible for the Walksnail 1S system and the DJI system, and maybe even the HD0 system if I can get some boards and put that together, because that's what I don't like about these tiny little 1S, or I guess 2S is probably the craft we're putting them in. They're just a little bit too fragile. I need to test out the robustness of something like this. But I've heard people say that this, like the Pro, it can take a beating. But the lights, the way the camera is held together, like it's unprotected. And I think we can do better with just even a little bit of TPU. So I'd love to start making like a 3D printing playlist, and with your help, hopefully we can get that underway as well. So I want to say for those people, thank you so much for your support, whether you're a member, whether you're a super chat, whether you're a Patreon, whatever it is, even just you viewers watching here, watching the content, thank you so much, because that is a future project that I would like to get underway to make some great content for you guys. Put the files out there as well for other users and say, hey, I've got I wish someone would design an O4 light case that I can use with my Lightning V2. Well, wouldn't you know it? That's what I hope to be able to upload in the future, but time will tell. Thank you to those people who are supporting that. Now, something I want to jump over. For those of you who don't know, DIY FPV, it is the greatest FPV website online. I may be a little bit biased. It's my own personal website that I've been working on with the DIY FPV team for like 18 months. And you guys have been amazing on it. You would have recently seen this page is currently what we are working on. So this is DIY FPV. I'm going to be talking about the builder in just a little bit. This is one of the big features that we have been working on. But behind the scenes, I know we've been working a little bit on dashboard. If you want to find out like the best prices and everything, like this is almost a price comparison catalog, dashboard, builder, map. Like this site does so much. I know I have 765 notifications right here. I've been a little bit busy on this site, but you'll notice I have all my emails responded to. So if you sent me a message on DIY FPV, there we go. I have responded to there. However, something that we get asked quite a lot is what is happening with dark mode. So a little update that I want to give you a sneak peek of what we're working on is this. And if you haven't been to DIY FPV, go and use it. And if you want to support DIY FPV, the best thing you can do is use it, is make posts and that sort of stuff. However, check this out. Oh, that's right. My computer crashed. Let me find this for you. And I would love to know your opinion. So this early access view is right. Let me see. Can I zoom in? Oh, it's in a PDF. So this is what you currently see right here. So, okay, this is our current, just an example template of what our dashboard looks like. I'm not sure if we have all this completely set up right now, but this is sort of what's coming as well. However, I know a lot of people have asked, might not seem like a big deal to some, but for a lot of people, it seems something they're very passionate about, and we're listening to you guys. We want to make the site that you want to use. Yeah, like a dark mode. So if you've got any suggestions or anything like that, maybe you're checking this out on your phone, or you're looking at your computer at nighttime and it's not as bright, it's not daylight outside. This is going to be a lot kinder on your eyes and not as blinding. One of the things we are currently looking at, however, with dark mode is you'll notice if you go to the catalog and look at a product, so looking at some of these things, if this is in dark mode, a lot of this still has some darker images in the background. So we do some things where we take a image from a store to show their product, but we remove a background. A lot of these have backgrounds that we are like cutting out behind the scenes, but we need to find a way to replace that still shows off the image, but also isn't too bright as well. So that's the other part. That's probably the last thing that is holding back dark mode, so it's congruent across the whole site, is what does it actually look like when it's dark and you're looking at the catalog as well without blinding yourself. So you don't want to have a dark mode that looks fantastic and then all of a sudden you switch to another page and it's still full of really white, bright images. So anyway, that's where we're up to with DIY FPV. I'm just going to catch up on the chat right here. I can see Chris Croft is saying, I've got the A1 Mini and I love it. Chris, I might have to shoot you an email actually about seeing if I can borrow your HD0 goggles for a little while, like the high-end version. I'd love to do some more content on that. Get Stickman Steve maybe to check him out as well. My buddy, this is from Happy Flyer. My buddy has an A1 and loves it. Uses it about every day too. A great printer choice. Thank you very much. It seems like a pretty good value one as well for like 300 and something US dollars. I think it's going to be perfect for the drone hobby parts that I want to make for others. All right, let's move on. I know we had a little bit about troubleshooting. It is 10:55 actually. So this is probably the last part that I want to talk about on DIY FPV. And this is kind of, if you've ever wondered how to solve your drone problems, the first thing you need to think about is, what is the troubleshoot process that I'm going through? So I'm about to read you a post on DIY FPV. And for a newcomer, if you're getting into the hobby for the first time, there is so much information going on, and looking at all the variables that drones have, it sounds almost impossible to diagnose a problem, but we're going to break it down so you get the skills on how to do that. So this is for those new pilots out there. Let me have a look at this. Look at this for a post. So this is in the troubleshoot section of DIY FPV. He's talking about how he's got his first drone, which is going to, this is important too, because a first-time pilot is going to go through a lot of these same experiences. Anyways, flying his drone, he's bound it. I'm paraphrasing all this stuff here. He's set it up, blah, 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 blah. He's flying in the air. Hit my ceiling, which caused it to fall to the floor. After the second flight, I used my throttle more carefully, crashed it, which is why a sim is really important. Crashing isn't the issue. What's the issue is after the second crash, I lost the video signals in my goggles. The drone was still responding to the radio just fine. I'm able to arm and spin up the motors. So then I had to figure out how to relink the VTX before it worked again. No problem. But after this, limited the throttle to 70% to be safe. And this is where it got weird. Armed the drone, lost video signal, picked it back up after a second or two. Then it throttled itself up, but not enough to lift off. When I tried lifting it by itself, it flew for a bit and dropped down. I started throttling up on the floor, which I disarmed it and removed the battery. Like, there is so much going on here that a newcomer coming into the hobby with a description like that, there is about like a checklist, a flow chart of things that you should be mentally going through to solve that. So here's his questions. Why is my video signal disconnecting as well as dropping out? And why is it throttling up by itself, and any other tips? So this is for Epic Pie Flavor. I'm going to give you a bit of a breakdown here, and I'll post a link to this here. It says a solution here. One of his connections was loose, but this could have been a number of things, and this might help some pilots out there as well. So why is my video signal disconnecting? The first thing I would think of is your battery charged? Like, if you have been testing, and it's happened to me in the past, don't laugh. If you've been testing and trying to get flying and a battery is getting flatter and flatter and flatter, you might think, oh, I haven't been flying for that long, or I've just been testing things on the bench. Especially a little craft, is your battery flat? Now, once you rule that out, it's all about ruling each step of the process out. Now, there's two things here. The video is disconnecting as well as dropping out. Now, he says that's because one of the connections came loose. That's probably one of the first things that you can look at. Then I would be like, are they on the same firmware? Was anything damaged in the crash? Because he's saying up here, he did crash into the ceiling. That's something that you need to have a look at. Look, he did find out that he could rebind it. This part here, why is the drone throttling up by itself? This is a warning to you newcomers. Do not do this. Do not limit your throttle to 70% and muck around with that sort of stuff if you are a newcomer to the hobby. There is so many variables that you need to take care of. Don't do this. Like, I think back to what Grumpy Trev used to say, like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's working, don't update it. Don't mess with it. So if it is working, don't go in there and start messing with the settings, especially if you're a new pilot. If you are hitting the ceiling, the best thing you can do is jump on the sim and practice, or go outside and practice. Trying to solve this with software is not going to help you become a better pilot. Now, as far as it's throttling itself up, but not to lift itself. This is making me think that maybe you did something wrong in the settings. So when you were adjusting your throttle, have you changed the setting in here, which is going to be making the drone throttle up and freaking out? It could also be something to do with which mode is it in, because I know a lot of pilots, when they fly around in self-level mode, when you arm in self-level mode, the drone is going to right itself. If it is not sitting perfectly flat and it is symmetrically, has a great center of gravity, if the front is heavier than the back and it's leaning forwards a little bit, it's going to always try to level itself out, which is why it would be arming the motors in this case. And that means not arming the motors. That's why it's going to be throttling up. Now, if it starts hovering and flying in the air, that is bad. That means you've done something here when you've set your throttle limit and that sort of stuff. So there is so many things that you need to do if you're a new pilot coming into the hobby and something is breaking or not working. you need to go through like a flow chart of things step by step and rule those things out. Is my battery charged? Are the cables correctly plugged in? Put your settings back to what they used to be. Do you still replicate the problem? So you need to go, oh, okay, maybe the settings weren't the issue that I was having. Like, don't change all these variables and then try to find out, why is my drone not working? It needs to be one thing methodically after another. And it's a real skill that you need to have in FPV, because our hobby, there is so many variables that you can change. Like if you just open up Betaflight and you look at like the ports tab and the serial and the RX provider, and then going over to like the ATR and how is your radio set up, like there is so much to do. Don't mess with more than one thing at once would be my recommendation. Now, if you have any other questions, always head over to DIY FPV and just put something right here under the little troubleshoot. You can do a little post right here. So we got this one. Recently got my Radio Master GX12 and noticed that it doesn't come pre-installed it doesn't come pre-installed with games like Pong and Tetris. Is this possible? All right, so this person wants to play Tetris on their GX12. Maybe if you have a solution for that, you can put that in there. That's probably a pretty random one, actually. I mean, it is technically FPV related, but yeah. If you got any troubleshoot questions, throw them down there. Other than that, I have a bunch of stuff to do today. I want to get these goggles set up, get them ready. I need to organize some stuff for filming. Stickman Steve is heading over. He might actually even be in the studio downstairs. I'm not too sure. We're going to check out some cool stuff there. I want to say thanks so much for tuning in. You guys are amazing. And the most important part, thank you for being so kind to me and this channel, but the most important part, be kind to yourself as well. You guys are amazing. I don't know who needs to hear this. If 99% of the people who watch this stream, this doesn't make a difference to their lives, but if this is the one person it does make a difference to, and that one person is you, I want to say thank you for being here. You are valued. We care about you, and FPV is a better place with you in it. So thank you for being part of this community. And I want to let you know that you are special, and I truly do value you for you being here. So yeah, that's right. You listening to this, it's bouncing off your ears, and you can roll your eyes and think you can't be possibly talking to me. I am. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Shout out to those people who sent through super chats. Shout out to my members. Shout out to my patrons, you subscribers. You guys are incredible. And there is going to be so much stuff coming on the channel. I am pumped. I've never felt more positive about FPV, and you guys are helping me make that happen as well. So, all right. Thank you. I will, thanks very much, Jeff. I have seen your comments here, Jeff, and I've remembered your name as well, this time. So, I just want to give myself a little pat on the back there. Well done, Stu. All right. Happy flying, guys. See ya.